Good day to you, partner. I'm keen, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Hi guys, Wheat Solo here, aka the Shirtless King.
And Papook here, luckily Wheat's camera's not working, so I'm blessed.
Yeah, Woogs doesn't have to see me, only my adoring fans get to see me. So we're
It's
just gonna
content's not allowed in Canada, so
yeah, no, I've been it's extradition policies, it has to do with Bieber. It's very complicated and we're lawyers are moving it through the courts very slowly. But their court system goes slow because the lawyers ride horses everywhere. I don't know, it's some sort of traditional thing
we
they
only
have
ha
to keep
we
up.
only have like 3 lawyers, so give us a break.
That might be better than
All right.
having a million. Yes, we're gonna
Yeah,
do a quick
at least they're
video.
less corrupt.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't
All right, talk us through this.
yeah.
What are we doing?
So the season 10 is going to be coming out, and the biggest change I think that I want to bring up real quickly is since I used to play summons at one point, and they're still my favorite thing to talk about and test. Poison will now stack independently of all players and summons. Now, for players that might be interesting for summons, as of now, it might not be interesting. The best summon I've tested is the Spider Magi, as the video I just showed, and they actually have a very interesting property where the damage is something. It's not enough to be good, but it is some damage. So, like, very budget, it'll be doing damage. But the cool part is it lasts for 4 minutes, so you could stomp, let all 8 of your spooters hit something, and then warp away, and then 4 minutes later come back and do it again. I'm not sure if that's worth anybody's time, but you could keep that in the back of your head if you're struggling with content. You can always do that.
And, and what about I'm trying to recall, drawing a blank here. You did the test with revives before, and was it the desecrate revives get the map mods? Is that how it works?
Yes, the desecrate. Oh, so you're
Yeah.
saying if you get a map with add poison damage? Okay, that could actually
E-
be. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then there's some maps that have some pretty crazy poison damage mobs, right? So if you get that with adds poison damage, I think there could be
Okay.
something there. Yeah.
No, that is true.
Could
And
be.
someone else told me that I need to make sure I check the poison damage because it was the easiest way to kill Duriel is to desecrate in the Duriel map, get the spiders there.
Yeah.
And someone told me those spiders seem to do significantly more damage. So I'll check that and then also check a map mob. So what do you
Right.
think, like Viz Jun? Because they have spooters in that.
It, yeah, I think that might work. I'm trying to draw a blank on the. Oh, actually, I can look on my screen while we're looking.
Yeah.
There's another map that's a shitty amount of poison too. It might be in the what's that one called, the arachnid place, the green one that Toad made.
Oh, you mean no no no, I know this.
Yeah. Um,
Actually, I don't know this.
they changed the Lost Temple now. It was
Lost
called
Temple.
whatever before, but
Yeah.
they have a couple of those like poison spinners and a few things. But the Duriel spiders, you can't open a map after the Duriel portal's open, so you'd only be able to do the other Ubers.
No, but
So
it
you could,
could. Right, if you go Blood Golem
yeah,
and Revive, and now we get to talk about Blood Golems real quickly. Blood Golems
yeah,
will now stack 5 times. I'm assuming they're going to get some nerf because I think their bleed damage is already pretty good, single target, and it's like
yeah.
something in maps, and giving them 5 stacks isn't going to help maps that much except budget, which maybe it makes a difference. I don't think so. But if you combine Blood Golems now and Revives, you're going to be the best Uber farmer in the game, I actually think. Like, I don't think any other class will compete unless somebody gets ridiculous melee weapons really quickly.
I agree, and I don't know. Did you watch that Korean speed run he posted probably last week?
Kareen?
He was, yeah, he's on Discord. He's been doing a whole bunch of speed runs and such. It's in the Uber Showcase channel on a Discord. He was doing, and he did a necro recently, just from like hardcore level
Yeah.
0 to Ubers runs. And he did it at level, I think he was like in the 20s, the plus skills. Like, sorry, so less than plus 10 skills. And he was doing golems revives did the council, the
Oh.
Trav revives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so councils and then the meteors after, because you get 3 portals now, right? So you can go in, get your Trav, use your Hydras to kill Meph, leave, get all the Ghoul Lords, and then go back in and kill the next boss and then the last portal for the last one. So he's like sub plus 10 skills, which is what we talked about before. It's what we did before, but you'll be able to do that, but better with blood golems, right? So
And
I think you'll be able to go right into hell.
Can you now open minis and Ubers in the same game, or can you still not do that?
You can, yes, but there, if I recall correctly, I stopped doing it. I believe you can, yes, because I believe I stopped doing it because they all spawn on top of each other for some reason when you do it.
Yeah, but it's not.
And in that top corner, so like it's like right when you enter, they're almost right there.
But
So it's kind of
you can deal with that.
You just gotta be quick about it. You gotta be quick about it. But I think
I guess
that's
it
why I
does
stopped
add
doing
variance.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, things can go wrong.
But
yeah, especially with only 3
that's-
entrances and yeah. But anyway, so now Blood Golem Revive shorthand of the stick is going to be the best Uber farmer in the game. And then I will check out the Revive Poison damage. Now, whether Poison will be viable in group play, it seems like it should because Poison Creeper's pretty good, Poison Nova's pretty good, but do you think they're going to nerf poison damage? Because it seems like they might.
They might, but my only worry is we saw those videos coming around about that guy on Reddit for like D2R, and the people were posting about it in PT2 about that mechanic from like LOD days where like any damage stops the ticks of poison, not just other poison. So that's why it was screwing up in P8s. Like you can, the instant, like the poison bit rate kind of gets screwed up when other sources of damage are hitting poison. So I don't know if that's around in PD2. It was unconfirmed if it's still like a P8 bug with poison. It would make sense why you don't feel like you do any damage. But I don't know. If that's not the case and they can stack poison, I think poison will be pretty good. I don't think they'll necessarily nerf it, but we have to see. I'm not sure if it's going to get crazy with how... I don't know how they're making it work, like with Pierce and everything like that, and like because it's reapplying. I'm not sure how it's going to work when you have like a Rabies Druid with a Creeper coming around with a P-Nova, or Poison Strike probably is a better example. I'm not sure how that's all going to work. It might be really funky and way too strong, and they might have to nerf some of the interactions. I do think that's a possibility. Now, Poison Skellies in your tests were still terrible, right? Like their single DPS was worse than any of the other elements. Is that right?
They're the worst mages. They're not going to be better.
Yeah.
And
so like even if you have a bunch, so I just wanted to clarify that for people. Like even before, like they will suck less, but still suck to get them. You don't want to see more than one green circle.
No, if you
in your mages,
if you want poison damage, you get a revive. You get a spooter.
Yeah.
So that's the summons. We don't. There's the new items. I don't think it's that big to go into now. Let's just go into. I think because we already took so long to talk about 2 things, and this was supposed to be a quick video.
Yeah.
I want to bring up one thing that you brought up, and Real John was complaining about. I really don't think it's a problem. That it's easy to hit 99. Because
Okay.
I think for most players it's still not easy based on time constraints.
I think, it's tough to say for this season because it was so long. So like I don't like to use the numbers of this season. I do think it's pretty funny that you have like, I'm trying to look at my thing here, like 58th Necromancer to hit 99. It's not crazy. 75th Amazon to hit 99. Like those things just ticked recently. I don't think that's a big deal because it was so long. My only slight where I brought it up, because I was talking to Vegan about it on our DMs, was pretty much season over season, the time for the softcore rushers to hit 99 is shortening. And this was the fastest season yet, and by a good margin. I think it was half a day they shortened it by, and it usually takes them 4 days, 4 to 5 days. So when you shorten that by half a day, that's, a quarter of the time. And we're not necessarily getting insanely smarter and better. So either there's power creep and, champions and comps are getting so much stronger and maps are not keeping up with that, or elements are making it too easy to gain experience. And we did see like the +1 levels areas. The Mendel event has insane experience. A lot of people are running +1 level maps, getting a Mendel event, finding EXP shrines, because EXP shrines are now AoE. So these elements are making it much faster for those initial groups to get 99. Does that matter for the population outside of like the 15 people that speed run to 99? Probably not. But we make bosses harder for just to kind of enable the content a bit better, like to bring out more competition stuff. That's why we added like T0, 1, and 2. So maybe making the 99 rush for that competitive edge a little bit harder by, punishing some death percentages. Right now, you only get about 2.5% or less when you die. Maybe it doesn't need to be 10%, but maybe something in between does make sense to put a little bit of, let's say, pressure on those people. It will hurt the casual person pushing 99 mid-season. I agree with you there. I just think if we want to treat 99s on the competitive scale like we do, since they do get an aura and a lightning aura by being the first top 3, maybe we should start targeting that on the competitive scale like we do with the boss auras.
By the way, I just noticed something. My mic is
My audio's
picking
not
up.
working?
No, my mic is picking up you talking. I don't even know
Oh,
how. Maybe you're finally
oh, you might
so
be hearing.
loud.
Uh-oh, you might be hearing me twice. So the person that couldn't hear me, now they're going to hear me twice.
If it's that bad, I won't release it. But it's
And
funny because
it's such a good rant this time, and it's just not even going to count.
I don't know because it's showing up at like 40 decibels, negative 40 decibels.
Mm.
So I don't know. We'll see what it sounds like. But it's just funny.
All
But
right.
the thing about the I I
I get both sides of the argument, but that's my stance on it. Yeah.
it's gotten easier every season. Maybe it's a bit too easy, but I don't think it's a big deal either way. I think it could even be a bit easier, and I don't think it hurts the game. I think it'd be a bit harder. I don't think it hurts or helps the game. I think most players want to be able to level up, and I'm not sure if making it slightly more challenging will attract enough players to make it worth it. But yes, it's basically gotten easier every single season. The only season maybe that's an exception was like season 2 to season 3. Season 3 got harder, but that's because they fixed assassins and their stupid death sentry bug, which just was the
Yeah.
was the dumbest fucking mapping experience ever.
Yeah, that was unfun.
No, it was fun because it was so easy. 'Cause
Not as a poison neck roll. All you were doing was just walking, casting desecrate for people.
yeah, you actually did something in groups. You
Yeah, you were
actually,
kind of they wanted me. It was
yeah.
nice.
um,
No,
Now, I guess the other thing I'd say about this in the conversation came up was that some classes have been nerfed, and I don't think for a good reason. Like Oridins aren't very good. I don't know
hmm
why, but that's just Senpai's decision about what he wants to see being popular. But I'd like to see Oridins back. But since we should probably wrap this up, why don't you talk about the other competitive side of it, not PvP, which is complicated, and I think everyone agrees PvP should get more attention, but that's probably a very long video.
a whole video on its own. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should make one, and maybe have Real John come on and actual PvPers talk about it. Where do you
Yeah,
think?
better than me.
Yeah, do you think
Go ahead, sir.
in-game content is good the way it is? Because I think it's better than it was maybe ever, but the problem is I think the level 0 has like nothing for people to gain except to do it once and to do it because it's so easy, and then the level 2 is so fucking hard. It's like, yes, it's cool for some people to try to go for, but even one gates so many players. So like maybe that was the idea of having 8 levels, but then that fucking sucked. How do you think they make bossing better to where it's actually something players want to pursue and maybe still achievable by every class at the hardest difficulty?
Yeah, I probably have not the best perspective on it. Like, I mean, probably a good, but not the best opinion for the general public. But what I would say is I think what they did with T0 makes sense, but it's not accomplishing what they want because it's very accessible for almost any class. I think you can do it on anything but like DP, but you just have to know the mechanics, right? So you just can't go in there blind. You have to understand, the cold nova, the lightning hose, all that kind of stuff. And then you can do it with very low resistances and it's pretty easy. The issue is it just gets abused by farmers because you can just early season, the first 2 weeks, make a character for like a high rune, and you could be running insanely fast Ubers to sell Annies, and then people are just lazy at that point and will just buy an Annie. So all it's doing is it's kind of enabling the bossers to make more profit early. Before, it was the old T1 level was the only level we had, and it took a few days for people to start being able to do it comfortably without dying. I mean, usually we saw the first kill on a Sunday or Monday, of course, the Trapsin was doing it, but people weren't like aggressively farming it for about a week. And that kind of like leveled the curve between mapping and bossing. Annies were very expensive, of course. I think T0, in my opinion, what I would want to see it as, it could be the same difficulty, but it should be account-bound Annies, which I understand Senpai doesn't like. But then I would like to see that because that encourages people to do it, and they'll get their essentially free Annie that's account-bound, and it doesn't enable the farmers to do it, in which they'd have to do the harder levels. I would probably tune down T1 just a little bit to make it more accessible. And then T2, I think it could probably use a little bit less because I do agree we don't even have all the kills. Maybe we do on softcore now. I haven't checked, but hardcore definitely not even close. And I think it's too hard. I mean, Declone is kind of manageable. Rathma is even harder. Even on T0, it's a harder fight. So I would tune down T2 and T1 a little bit, and I would like account bound T0 so you can't abuse it to farm. To me, that would be the best. But that being said, I think, bossing is in a pretty interesting state. I think it's good, but it does have its problems. And I think it's too easily abused by people that just want to grind out that first week of these free T0 Annies. And I just don't think it's bringing in people to want to do it. It's expensive to buy your mat. It's still, 0.75 high runes, 1 high rune to get your vision or your void stone. And if people don't know the fight, it's a risk. Even if the fight's easy, it's a risk for them. They don't want to lose it, so they'd rather just give that to a farmer and pay the very small price to get their guaranteed Annie. So that's
actually,
yeah. Go ahead.
I liked what you said. I think it's fine because having players be able to do it is good, but then I guess they're still not even doing it. And so to give them incentive to actually do it because they won't be able to get it very cheaply. And even though they can get it pretty cheaply, what this means is that some person out there is making actual profit off of it, doing absolutely nothing. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good start. Maybe we can do another one when more notes are out, but I think for now we can probably just leave it at that. And I think we're going to see how this audio sounds.
Yeah, see if it even works. I think, next time we can touch on a few other notes. I think the only real quick ones is that just the notes, the Act 3 Mercenary doesn't get daggers. So that's the big one, right? No more War Shrike.
As long as Act 1 gets nerfed a little bit, I don't care. But I mean...
I'll make Real John happy.
Well, Act 1 is more abused than Act 3, War Shrike. So I don't know why that was targeted.
I think it's more abused in our bubble. I think Act 3 is more heavily used if you do the ladder checks. It's more used by the general, like Sorks, Paladins. A lot of people are using Act 3. But I agree. I think Act 1 is more of a problem, but Act 3 got more exposure, I would say. But we live in a bubble here, so hard to say. But yeah.
Static
shock. LP.
Static shock, dude.
Yeah. It's okay. They get rid of... Go ahead.
I'm calling it. Someone next season is going to have the minus 50% static shock Act 3 Merc on lock.
Maybe. I'm thinking about, honestly, Fire Golem fix. Maybe you're going to see me on Fire Golems plus Dual Dream Act 3. Maybe.
No. For now, but eventually you go for Pierce.
Yeah. Yeah, start with Dual Dream and eventually just do the 200 high rune.
Yeah,
Pierce
200
static
plus
with,
high rune. 200 plus.
Yeah, with pure Fire Golem snapshot. Yeah. Baby.
Yeah. Anyways, Skelet King out, guys. GG.
See ya.
All right, what's...
Come and play with us, Danny. Forever.